Hey everyone, welcome back to X versus Y. Today we're tackling one of the biggest what-ifs trending right now, Calexit. The idea that California could leave the United States just like Britain left the European Union with Brexit. But is this even possible? Or is it just a pipe dream? Let's break it down, compare the chaos, and see if California could actually go rogue. First, let's rewind to Brexit. In 2016, the UK shocked the world by voting to leave the European Union. But why? Well, for decades, Britain had a love-hate relationship with the EU. Critics said Brussels had too much power over UK laws, borders, and money. Sound familiar, California? The Leave campaign promised Brits more control over immigration, trade deals, and their own courts. And guess what? It worked. 52% voted to leave despite warnings of economic doom. But then, reality hit. Negotiations were a nightmare. The UK spent years arguing with the EU over trade, fishing rights, and that infamous Irish border. And when they finally left in 2020, the economy tanked, food shortages hit shelves, and guess what? Scotland started talking about their own independence. Oops. Key takeaway? Brexit was messy, but legal. The EU has an exit clause, Article 50. California? Not so lucky. Let's talk about that. California is a global powerhouse. If it were a country, its economy would beat the UK and Germany. So why not go solo? The Calexit movement argues the state's progressive policies clash with the federal government, especially on climate, taxes, and social issues. But is this realistic? First problem, it's illegal. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled in Texas v. White, 1869, that states can't unilaterally secede. Translation? California would need a constitutional amendment approved by 38 states. Yeah, good luck with that. Or they could start a revolution, which, let's be real, would end very badly. Even if they tried, California depends on the U.S. for 40% of its water, federal highways, and defense. Oh, and say goodbye to the U.S. dollar. Imagine Silicon Valley startups dealing with a new currency overnight. Yikes. And let's not forget politics. Only 28% of Californians supported secession in recent polls. That's way lower than Brexit's 52%. So, is this just a protest fantasy? Maybe, but let's compare the two. Let's break down the big differences. Legality. Brexit had Article 50. Calexit has nothing. The US Constitution is a brick wall. Economics. The UK traded heavily with the EU, but California's economy is woven into the US. Think federal contracts, Medicare, and disaster relief. Identity. Brits have a 1,000-year history as a nation. California? It's a state, proud, but not a historic sovereign entity. Here's the kicker. The EU is a political union. The US is a single nation. Leaving the EU is like moving out of an apartment. Leaving the US? That's like trying to remove your liver and call it a separate body. It's complicated. And globally, if California left, would the US let them keep Disneyland? Meanwhile, the UK just vibes as an island. You asked, I'm answering. Go! Could California survive without the US Army? Nope. California relies on federal defense. Without it, they'd need a new military. And good luck building that before hackers take down their Wi-Fi. Would Hollywood move? Maybe. Studios could flee to dodge taxes, but hey, at least we'd finally get Avatar 7. What about Silicon Valley? Tech giants depend on US laws and global trade deals. New country equals new regulations. Cue the billionaire panic. Would California keep the dollar? Doubt it. They'd need their own currency. Or convince the US to share, which, after that deep fake, not happening. Boom! Calexit, great for memes, bad for everything else. Calexit isn't just trending because it's wild. It's a symptom of America's divide. Blue states versus red states. Urban versus rural. But secession? That's nuclear-level escalation. Brexit taught us that independence sounds sexy until you're stuck in a 10-hour customs line for a passport stamp. pro-Brexit folks swore the UK would thrive alone. Instead, they got empty supermarket shelves and a weaker pound. Calexit risks even worse, losing the dollar, social security, and literal water rights. Is that a trade-off for progressive policies? You tell me. Plus, let's be real, Texas and Alaska would probably try to secede next. And then we're just... Civil War II, electric boogaloo. So, could California actually leave the US? Legally? No. Practically? Even harder. But in a world where Brexit happened, Trump got elected, and TikTok predicts World War III daily? Who knows? Maybe nothing's impossible anymore. Drop a comment, Team Calexit, or Team USA, and let's debate. If you want more wild comparisons, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay curious, stay skeptical, and don't try to secede at home.